Hello students. In this part we will study about the blood circulatory system, that is our circulatory system in our body. Now circulatory system is very important as it performs the transport of various substances like water, hormones, oxygen, soluble nutrients, waste material, and it takes through different organs of our body. So we will be studying about the circulatory system and what organs are involved in the circulatory system. So we have heart, then capillaries, arteries, all these organs are involved in the circulatory system. So let us study about the circulatory system. Heart. Now heart is the main organ of the blood circulatory system. Now heart is present almost at the center of the thoracic cage. It is also the size of your fist. If you will see your fist, it is the size of your fist. And the weight of your heart is around 360 grams. Now the heart is covered by a membrane. That membrane is called as the peritoneal membrane. So there is a double layer of peritoneal membrane which is present. And in between these two membranes, there is a fluid which is present. Now why this fluid is present? So that if your heart gets any shock, so that fluid absorbs the shock in it and directly your heart doesn't get affected. So it protects your heart. So that is why between the two layers we have that fluid which is present. Now also your heart is an involuntary organ. It works involuntarily because it is made up of involuntary muscles. Now these muscles, they work automatically. It is not in your control. You do not say your heart to beat or stop beating. So that is why your heart is not in your control. It is made up of involuntary cardiac muscle. And internally your heart is divided into two compartments, left and the right compartment. Each of these compartments are having chambers in it, and the heart consists of four chambers. The upper two chambers, here in this picture if you will see, these two upper chambers are called as the atria, or you can also call it as atrium, and the lower chambers are called as the ventricles. Now there are different parts in your heart. If you will see, there are different arteries which are going, there are different veins which are there, aorta is there, you have cuspid walls which are there. All these things are important for the flowing, the entering of the blood in your heart and the flowing of blood from your heart. Next is blood vessels. Now there are three blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. Let us first learn about arteries and veins. Now arteries carry the blood away from the heart, and that is why they are called as arteries, as they carry away, A for away. Now only one carries deoxygenated blood, that is pulmonary artery. It carries deoxygenated blood, and except this, all the arteries which are there, they carry the oxygenated blood. Now what is the difference between deoxygenated and oxygenated? Deoxygenated means the blood is low with oxygen, and oxygenated means the blood is having oxygen in it. So they carry the oxygenated blood except one, that is called as the pulmonary artery. And these do not have any valves, and also these are very thick. Next we have veins. Now veins carry the blood towards the heart. Arteries carry away from the heart, veins carry the blood towards the heart from the various parts of the body, and that is why they are called as veins. Now all the veins, they transport the deoxygenated blood except one which transports the oxygenated blood, which is called as the pulmonary vein. Now most of the veins, they are having very thin wall. Veins usually have a thin wall and they also have valve. Now valve, why they have? Because when the blood flows and the blood is flown from those valves, it opens and it closes. So it is like a door. when the blood needs to be flowed, so it opens, and when it is not needed, it's closed. So these are called as the valves. So these are two things, that is artery and veins carrying oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Next is capillaries. Now capillaries are formed by arteries and veins only. Now veins, they branch out into very minute small hair-like structures. These are called as capillaries. Now as it is very minute, they have very thin wall, and it is very helpful for the transportation of nutrients. Now, most of the nutrients, that is exchange of oxygen, hormones, vitamins, and oxygen and all this takes place because of the thin wall of the capillaries. Now, also the waste material from the cell and the blood can also be excreted through the capillaries only. And the capillaries, they unite to form in more diameter, and they form veins. So arteries, they branch out to form small capillaries. Then capillaries, they all unite together to form big and huge in diameters to form veins. So these are called as capillaries. Now our blood is being transported from these blood vessels only, that is our arteries, our veins, and the capillaries. Now, if you will hear the sound of your heart, it's always loved up noise you will see. Now, our heart beats around 72 times in a minute. So, your heart beats for 72 times per minute. And also, it pumps around 75 ml of blood in each beat. So, in one beat, what it is doing is pumping 75 ml of blood. Now, the blood circulation is a very important part in your body. The process of pumping of blood towards the various parts of the body and bringing back to it is in the heart is nothing but the blood circulation. So from the heart only your blood is pumped to the different part, and from the different part it is again brought into the heart. And also there is relaxation of your heart and contraction of your heart, which continuously takes place. In a single beat, you will see that there is relaxation and contraction also. If you have not seen, do watch the videos of contracting heart. That is how the heart pumps. When it pumps, while in one beat it contracts and relaxes itself. Now let us talk about blood. Now blood is red in color, and it is made up of fluid connective tissues. The pH of our blood is 7.4, and if ever you have tasted your blood, you will see that the blood is salty to taste. Now it has two components in it, that is plasma and blood cells. So in your blood you have blood cells also and plasma also. Now if you will see, the color of plasma is yellow. So if you will see your blood is red in color. But when we centrifuge it, when you separate the cells of the blood and the water content, that is the plasma, then we will find that the plasma is yellow in color. Now it consists of various proteins, water, salts. Now there are other things also which are present in plasma, like the albumin, which is nothing but which distributes the water all over the body. Then we have globulins for protection, fibrinogen and prothrombin, and various ions. Now all these things are very important because, for example, if you get a cut, so at that time for the clotting, fibrinogen and prothrombin is important. So these things are present in the plasma. In the blood cell, you will see it is of three things present. The blood cells consist of RBC, that is red blood corpuscles, WBCs, that is white blood corpuscles, and your platelets. You must have even heard that in reports RBC is less, WBC is less, or platelets is less. So RBC, they are circular in structure and usually they are smaller in size. Then the RBC, it appears red because it has hemoglobin in it, and also oxygen dissolves because of the hemoglobin in the RBC. Now RBCs, where are they produced? So they are produced in your bone marrow. You have your bone marrow in your body, so there the RBCs are produced. Next we have WBCs. Now the WBCs are colorless, they don't have any color, and they are larger than the RBCs. Also, they are nucleated, they have nucleus in it. Now, there are around 5,000 to 10,000 WBCs in your body. Now, WBCs are of five types, that is basophil, eosinophils, neutrophils, monocytes, and lymphocytes. And WBCs are produced in the red bone marrow. Now RBCs, they are red in color, WBCs are colorless. And the five types of WBCs are according to the shape. Now there are different, one is like a phone structure, one is circular. So according to that, different names are given like basophil, eosinophils, neutrophils, monocytes and lymphocytes. So these are the type of WBCs which are present in your blood. And next you have, that is platelets. Now platelets, these are small and disc in shape. So these you can find here, they are small in round structure. These are nothing but the platelets. And platelets, it is around 2.5 to 4 lakh platelets which are present in per cube of blood. Now what is the function of platelets? It helps in blood clotting also. And the function of WBCs is the protection against any foreign pathogen. So whenever any foreign substance enter into your body, then the WBCs fight it. So these are the different types of blood cells, that is RBC, WBC and platelets. So if you will take your blood, your entire blood which is red in color, and if you will centrifuge it. Now centrifugation is nothing but you will keep the blood and rotate it at a very high speed, which is done in a centrifugation machine. So what happens is, because of that, the solid substance which is there in the blood, it settles down and the water content is left on the top. So here you will find that on the top we have plasma, which is nothing but the water content. In this we have proteins and we have iron, salts, etc. Then we have our leukocytes, that is our WBCs and the platelets. And then we have the erythrocytes, that is our RBCs. So this is how we get different forms of, if we have to separate, these procedure is done to separate the different types from the blood. Now to understand WBCs, you can find there are different shapes of WBCs. See here, this shape is called as lymphocyte. If it is in this shape, it is called as basophil. If it is like this, like a phone structure, then it is called as eosinophil. If it is like this kidney shaped structure, it is monocyte. And if it is random structure, then it is neutrophil. So according to this, we have given different names to the WBCs. And this way there are five types of WBCs. That is RBCs do not have any type, but inside it hemoglobin is present and that is why they are red in color. We have platelets and yellow is nothing but the plasma which is present. And here you also have the content that in blood this much amount, that is 55% of plasma is there, 0.01% of platelets is there, 41% of RBCs are there and 4% of WBCs are there. So we have four types of blood types. So you can either have blood type O, B, A or AB. Now it depends on the protein like the antigens and the antibodies, and different blood groups are formed from it. Now also we say that it is O negative or O positive. So that is because of the Rh factor. It is called as the recessive factor. It was found out by the scientist and so it is called as recessive factor. So if it is present, then it is Rh positive, and if it is absent, then Rh negative. And so if it is present, so we say A positive, B positive, AB positive. And if it is absent, we say A negative, B negative, AB negative or O negative and so on. And according to this, we have four types, that is O, A, AB and B. It can be O positive negative, A positive negative, B positive negative, AB positive negative. And it all depends on what? The Rh factor. Next is the blood donation. Now when people meet with accident or during a surgery, people require blood. It is very important that the proper blood group, blood should be given to that particular person, or else it may harm the person and the person may die. So that is why blood donation is very important, as it is also a good cause. as blood donation can save someone's life, and already there is shortage of blood because there is so many incidences which takes place, and always blood shortage happens. So that is why after you turn 18, if you are good in health, if you are healthy, it's good to donate your blood. Now, blood is donated in blood banks, and then from those banks, it is given to the needy persons. Also, the person who donates blood is called as a blood donor, and the person who receives the blood is called as the blood recipient. And also one important thing, that blood group O, any people who's having the blood group O is called as the universal donor, because blood group O can be given to A also, AB also, and B also. So that is why they are called as the universal donor. And the blood group AB is called as the universal recipient. That is, they can take the blood from O also, A also, and B also, and AB also. So that is why they are called as universal recipient, and O is called as universal donor. So blood donations is also considered as the best donation because it will help someone and it is for a noble cause. Also, the blood group that you have, it depends on the heredity. It depends on the genes that you have got from your parents. So blood donation is a very good thing, and in future do try it, because if you are giving blood, then someday you may also require blood. You can also, if you are a donor, then someday you can also become a recipient. Now, many times if you have visited a doctor's clinic, then you must have seen he uses this particular equipment to measure something. So he uses this equipment to measure blood pressure, and this equipment is called as sphygmomanometer, and this is used to calculate the blood pressure. Now, what happens is our heart continuously contracts and relaxes. So there is a pressure which is created on the arteries. So the pressure which is created on contraction of the heart is called as the systolic pressure, and which is created on the relaxation of the heart, it is called as the diastolic pressure. So when they calculate the blood pressure, they calculate systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. So the blood pressure should always be between 120, 180 mm to 139, 89 mm of mercury. Mm is millimeter of mercury, and this is the measure which should be there for a healthy person. So if it is 120 by 80 mm to 139 by 89 mm of Hg, then the blood pressure is normal. But if it exceeds, then the blood pressure is high. If it lowers, then the blood pressure is low. Now, if there is high blood pressure, if there is the blood pressure, it increases, that means there is lot of tension which is created. That is called as hypertension. The arteries which are there in your heart, it goes into lot of hypertension, and that is why it develops high blood pressure. Now, heart needs to perform more function than the normal condition, and that is why you will see that both the pressure, that is systolic and diastolic pressure, will be higher than the normal. So this is called as hypertension, and in hypertension the blood flow is not proper, and the blood flow does not flow easily through the vessels. Now, 1st of October is celebrated as National Voluntary Blood Donation Day. On this day, awareness about blood donation and benefits of blood donation are said to the people. Also, a healthy person of age more than 18 can donate the blood for 3 to 4 times in a year. And do not forget that if you donate food, you only fulfill the hunger. But if you donate blood, you actually save someone's life.